Oh yeah, it's double organic. Hello and welcome to my castle. Hey, thanks for tuning in for another dose of vitamin D with me, double organic. Today we're talking about the Woodstock Fruit Festival, the history of the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and why my castle? Well, because it's my magic castle, and the Woodstock Fruit Festival, it's a pretty magical event, if I can say so myself. That's gone on for the last 6 years, and this will be the 7th year. So I'm going to go over the history of the Woodstock Fruit Festival and how it developed and how it went from what it was in 2011 to what it was in 2016. The good, the bad, the ugly. It's going to be a mostly drama-free history. But let's get started. And the reason I'm making this video is because the Woodstock Fruit Festival is coming up soon. Woodstock Fruit Festival can be a real life-changing experience. Definitely was for me. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to go down memory lane and go over the history, the untold history, of the Woodstock Fruit Festival and all the magical events that happened. Now, one thing I cannot stress enough about the Woodstock Fruit Festival is the friendships that I've made and that everyone else who attends there makes. And I remember distinctly in the first year, the 2011 Woodstock Fruit Festival, where Doug Graham said, make friends with all the people who are here, because next year when you come to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, it's just gonna be all hugs and hey, I remember you, how's it been? That kind of atmosphere. And it was, and it's amazing to be able to come back every year and meet all these people. I don't want this to be an official history, like your history class where we're remembering every single detail. I want to go over the interesting things and the overall development of the Woodstock Fruit Festival. So I'm not going to hopefully be going over too many names and who did what and all that kind of jazz. It started in 2011. That was the first Woodstock Fruit Festival. Although there was an entire year prior to that of planning the festival. It takes a lot of work. Michael Arnstein helped organize the festival, and many other people helped organize it as well. So the 2011 Woodstock Fruit Festival was set in the Catskill Mountains of New York at the Menla Retreat. I think that's the full name. Anyways, is that Menla? And Menla was a very Zen, Buddhist-y sort of place, and very serene in the mountains. There'd be fog or mist in the morning, and dew and all that jazz. In fact, I remember there's this, I don't think anyone else really noticed this, but in one corner of one of the rooms, there was this sort of really big square shelf kind of thing, and it was cellophaned off with plastic wrap, but there was this art inside it, this sand art where very intricately different colored sand had been dropped down and made this giant mural. I'm sure I've got a picture of it somewhere I'll be able to post. So it's just like a really serene place and lots of little quiet areas you could go to. And in fact, the Dalai Lama had attended there previously. It was so quiet there that I could hear the sounds of animals in the woods having sex. Or maybe it was the fruitarians. I don't know. There's a lot of hippy-dippy sort of people there. Fun fact, I have somehow managed to see someone naked every year at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. Whether it was the right place at the right time or the wrong place. Some of it was intended, some of it was unintended. Now, I almost didn't make it to the first Woodstock Fruit Festival. I was driving there, and at the border, it's always an interesting interaction at the border. What do you tell them? I'm going to a fruitarian festival. We're going to camp and eat fruit and sing songs, and they look at you like you're a little bit of weirdo. So you just tell them you're going camping, and yeah, the border lady thought I was trying to escape from Canada's free healthcare to America to live the American dream. Where she got that idea from? You know, she's like, turn the car off and give me the keys, and bend over and pull your pants down. No, she didn't ask me to do that, but I did it anyways in case she wanted to. And anyway, she let me go with a stern warning, and away I went finally to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And when I arrived at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, I knew I'd come to the right place. This is what I was looking for. I drove up a hill and parked, and I was walking to the registration center, and I saw people just walking around munching on heads of lettuce. I'm like, yeah, these are my people. And I went inside, and there were just stacks of banana cases and stacks of cases of dates, and I remember around the fruit buffet area, it was just grab and go, very simple, no prep work done, do it yourself kind of stuff. And there's this guy, just in his underwear, crazy hair. We got talking. It was actually Lindsay Kalkleger's husband, Year of the Durian, a couple who traveled around Asia for a year and wrote about it in Year of the Durian. You might have heard of them. That year at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, I ate 18 durian. That's about 3 durian a day. Thank you, Mike. That was money well spent. And the people who attended, the 200 people, we ate a lot of fruit, and we made a compost pile. The raw bras, even though they were no longer raw, they were still bras, and they attended, and they were driving the golf cart around, filling the compost heap up. They were just dumping all the compost and into this heap that was, massive, the size of like a tiny house or something, really, really big. And maybe that compost pile is why we weren't invited back to the Menla retreat for the next Woodstock Fruit Festival. But we'll get to that, and it was maybe for the better. Anyways, yeah, giant compost pile. Yeah, the Woodstock Fruit Festival was the beginning of a lot of great things for people, and of course a lot of great friendships. There were a lot of talks at the Woodstock Fruit Festival in 2011, and I don't remember them all, but I do distinctly remember attending one of Harley's talks, Durian Rider's talks, and he's talking about the importance of sleep, water, sugar, and that you should be pissing clear and all that stuff that he talked about. And he was trying to make a point about something, and he said something along the lines of, at any moment this barn could just collapse and fall down. And I shit you not, but we experienced an earthquake at that moment. And at that time, at that very instance, I realized Durian Rider was God, and everyone else realized the same thing. That's when the cult of Durian Rider really began, the 30 bananas a day cult. Now you know. That was the beginning. Not really. But it was kind of interesting, kind of crazy that at that moment. Earthquake. Or maybe he is God. I don't know. I also remember getting dragged along into a sweat lodge at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, which is like kind of like a giant one of these behind me, and there's a fire going on inside, and it's really hot, and you can't hardly breathe. And I remember I was like lifting up to try and create some cracks at the tent, like get some fresh air, and I'm like trying to breathe it in, and the people running the lodge would keep coming over and be like pushing them down, like, I wonder why this is coming up. No idea. No, not me. That guy there. Yeah, it wasn't really for me. The 2011 Woodstock Food Festival, it was a year of wonder. In 2011, raw foods was still very young, not quite, as developed as it is today. Not that it's mainstream or anything, but it was very different back then. And so every night at around 7 o'clock or so, I think it was, maybe it was 8, when everyone's done dinner, everyone would go to the main lecture hall area, and everyone would listen to Doug Graham deliver the keynote talk, and everyone would listen in awe. And that's what I did anyway, I was very new to this, everyone else was very new to this, and everyone's just listening like, listening to gospel, like, it was a good time. Although it's very different now at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. There's no one person is like our savior, But yeah, Doug had a lot to share, and a good storyteller, that's for sure. Oh yeah, and the naked person at Woodstock Fruit Festival. Well, some guy. I remember this guy. He was very strict fruitarian. I remember grabbing one of the durian that were frozen and putting it on the table to eat it that he was sitting at, and he's like, "No! This is the pure fruitarian table. That fruit was frozen. It's not allowed at this table." Okay, I'll go to this other table. My durian number 17. And he dove into a pool, hit his head, wasn't thinking straight, took his clothes off, and was just walking around, and Harley Durian Rider found him in the compost heap. That's what Harley says. Anyways, that concludes 2011. We're gonna go through the other years a bit quicker, because I spent a lot of time on 2011, but not a lot of people went to that one. So I wanted to share about 2011 and my experiences at the 2011 Woodstock Fruit Festival. Alrighty, on to 2012. That was the year the world was gonna end, but it didn't end, and the Woodstock Fruit Festival continued. In addition to there not being an apocalypse, the world ending, and the Woodstock Fruit Festival continuing, we had a new location now, and it's been the same location ever since. It's a great location. So in 2012, the Woodstock Fruit Festival moved to Camp Walden, this time in the Adirondack Mountains of New York. And it's a bit closer for me to drive, so bonus. Camp Walden's a kids' camp, and fruitarians take it over every year and have the biggest fruit festival ever. The presenters are pretty standard, every year, with some minor changes. If someone maybe can't make it, or this, that, or the other thing. I'm not going to go into that too much. I think it gets a bit repetitive and boring. We'll get to the drama. Drama's coming, but in 2012, everyone was still happy and carved up, and no major issues yet, but there was a storm brewing. Oh yeah. What was unique about the 2012 Woodstock Fruit Festival? Well, this is the year that a documentary was made about the festival. It's a must-watch, I think, along with Wayne's World 1. And I was in the first couple minutes of that. Not of Wayne's World 1, I wasn't in that movie, but I was in the first couple minutes of the documentary. In 2012, I was still going to plenty of lectures. There was still lots for me to learn. I was still quite new to this lifestyle. And when I wasn't going to lectures, I was meeting the 400 people who were in attendance. By this time, Chris Kendall was a full-time chef, along with Megan Elizabeth helping him out in the kitchen, them working together, creating recipes for everyone to eat. And yeah, meeting tons of people who were from all over the world, some of whom had transformed their lives eating raw foods, which is really cool to hear about. So yeah, there was lots of different talks, and lots of different stuff to do. I basically would get up every day, eat fruit, work out, because there's lots of different fitness classes. You know, maybe work out with Doug Graham or do yoga with Chris, something like that. I would go swim at the beach, play in the water, lots of different water toys, eat more fruit, get lots of sun, and just have a whole heck of a lot of fun. You know, and Doug was right. When I came back to the Woodstock Fruit Festival 2012, there was a lot of friends that I had met, and then a lot of friends that I had met that I was able to reconnect with, and a lot of new people to meet. And that's really what the festival's about. It's about people coming together. And every year, the end of the festival is the same. Everyone's sad, doesn't want to leave. It's been like the best week of their life. But on to 2013. Festival went on, people had a great time. But around 2013, that's when some of the drama started picking up. Some people didn't have the best experiences or the best times at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. You know, it's a quite an undertaking to put it together, and I'll go over more of what was all involved later on in the video. You know, making sure there's enough food, enough ripe fruit for 500 people. No easy task. There's people who have issues having enough ripe fruit around for one person. In the first couple years, the banana ripening was not quite figured out. You know, we'd only have ripe bananas on the last day or two. And this is around the time when I think a lot of videos came out about how they're not coming to the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival because of, and really that happens every year. I'm not coming back because of this and that, the other thing, but it continues to grow. And despite all the drama, the Woodstock Fruit Festival, the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival, it went on. And this time for 2 weeks. 2 weeks long. And so I mentioned that there was some drama building. And oh yeah, there was some drama, let me tell ya. And it was about Harley and Freely. I'm sure you might have heard of the drama. And in 2013, at the end of the Woodstock Fruit Festival, everything was good. They're saying how much they love the festival and how they'll be back. But then, because they had been talking negatively, talking a lot of shit about Damn the Man, they were removed from the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival and removed as pioneers. And when Harley and Freely got the news that they were no longer pioneers, they made a nice, calm, cool, and collected video about how they were sad that they wouldn't be returning to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. They made amends with Dan the Man. They hugged. Everyone went their separate ways, and everything was good. No, it was a shit show all across Facebook and YouTube. People were picking sides. And there was a lot of angry vegans, and that's a bit of an oxymoron, angry vegans. But there was a lot of videos being made shaming the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and people are saying how this is the end of the Woodstock Fruit Festival and how Harley and Freely made the Woodstock Fruit Festival. But anyways, despite all that drama, the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival went on, and this time it was 2 weeks long. It was one of my favorite Woodstock Fruit Festivals because 2 weeks, that was amazing. Every time the Woodstock Fruit Festival ends, people are always wishing that, it could just be year round, although that'd be kind of an impossibility. Although there are some communities who try and live that way, whether it's in Hawaii or Ecuador, etc. There was about 600 people total who attended over those 2 weeks, and it was great. This time around, Chef Alicia took over the kitchen. In 2013, she ran Le Fruit, which is like a fancy dining hall. I think Le Fruit was there in 2012 as well. I tried to look up when it was. I went a couple times, you'd have to pay $25 or whatever for a fancy meal. It was small portions. It was kind of funky though to be able to dress up and go on a date with some fruitarian person you met. And but eventually, in I think it was 2014. You know, Chris Kendall and Megan Elizabeth, they were in the kitchen, and it was too crazy. They shut down Le Fruit. Chef Alicia helped in the kitchen because I tell you, the people in the kitchen, they work their frickin' asses off every day to make all this amazing food for the attendees at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. The people who come to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, they eat well. They eat well. And you can watch videos online of people complaining about the food at Woodstock Fruit Festival. Yeah, you know, that's just a blip on the radar. That's not the majority of what people think. That's just like a couple people who had a bad time. And so yeah, it was a transition, and eventually Chef Alicia took over full time, and Chris Kendall and Megan Elizabeth, who wanted out of the kitchen, got out of the kitchen, and Chef Alicia wanted in, so it was all good, and they got a break, and Alicia works really freaking hard now. So yeah, Woodstock Fruit Festival has lots of now gourmet options, lots of delicious food being made. So you can still eat super simple, or if you want something a little fancy, you can have whatever you want. And once again, at the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival, there are tons of awesome people who came. I've made countless friendships. It's amazing how many friends I've made from around the world. And everyone else has made those same kind of friendships as well. So it's just an amazing group of people who always show up at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I also remember meeting some amazing people week one, and it was so sad when they left and they were kicking themselves in the pants like, what? You're staying for 2 weeks? I only booked for 1 week. No, why didn't I book for 2 weeks? Because 2 weeks is better than 1 week. And you know, all that drama that went on prior to the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival, when you're at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, you don't care about the drama. It's like, what drama? This is amazing. We're at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. There's such great friendships that are made at the Woodstock Fruit Festival that sometimes they even get married. And Rainey and Anna, who had met at some previous years, they got married at the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival. So, a lot of great things happened to people at the Woodstock Fruit Festival. In 2015, shit got real. Shit got real. It was maybe going to be the last year. Like I said, a lot of work gets put into creating the Woodstock Fruit Festival. And Mike Arnstein, the founder, is always putting up his own money to make it happen, you know? And you can only do that for so long. So we partied hard. Yeah, we ate fruit like crazy. Our festival that we went to every year, you know, this was our paradise, our dream vacation every year. It was maybe going to be ending. We were sad. I was sad. And like I said, Mike Arnstein, you know, he put forth his own money in. And in past years, people had criticized the Woodstock Fruit Festival as being corporate and, you know, being a money-making machine. No, it's more like a money-losing machine, because it costs a lot, and Mike would have to be putting his own money into the festival, you know? How would you like to put on a festival and then have to put in 50 grand of your own money to make it happen at the end of the day? Kind of generous. And the festival costs about $500,000 to run, you know. There's a lot of cost booking the festival and all the fruit. Fruit's expensive to get all that fruit in. But in 2015, Martha's Best Papaya secretly infiltrated the festival and came in. And when Mike was like ready to pack up, you know, they were getting ready to sell everything, you know, all their blenders and this, that, and the other thing. Martha's Best came in and said, hey, we want to like donate and sponsor to keep this festival going. And kept going, it did. And the festival was basically shutting down unless 200 people at the end of the festival put their money where their mouth was and, you know, signed up ahead of schedule. And that's exactly what happened. And there was a countdown over a month or so. You know, people would get emails saying 50 or 100 people have signed up, or 127 people have signed up, 183 people have signed up, 200 people have signed up, and then Mike posted a video saying the festival's on, and everyone cheered. The 2015 festival really had improved big time. It had become more and more about community, which is what Mike always wanted. He always wanted a community type festival, not corporate and all that kind of stuff where people are selling stuff. And sure, that still happens one night, you know, presenters can sell their books, but it's about community. And I think it was in maybe 2013, 2014 when Roy started getting involved with the festival. He was an attendee, but he's got a big heart, a big voice, and you know, he's good at running fun things, being a teacher, and so it became kind of like the summer camp for fruitarians. More and more about community and less about gurus giving lectures, and less of the being in awe of people, and more about is a level playing field. You know, sure, these are some people who have done stuff, you know, been raw for a decade or two or three, and yeah, we can learn a thing or two from them, but it's all a level playing field rather than, you know, putting them up on a pedestal. And in 2015, despite there being less of a focus on talks and lectures and whatnot, I was still very honored to be invited to give a lecture and food demo, and that was a highlight for me, you know, because I am always trying to share what little bit of knowledge I have, and to be able to give a lecture at the Woodstock Food Festival was definitely a big deal for me. And in the 2016 Woodstock Fruit Festival, one of the major pioneers was no longer invited back, and that's Doug Graham. And I'm not really interested in getting to all the drama, but it had to do with his fasting retreats and someone almost dying. I'm not going to get into all the details, right? You can, if you don't know about it, you can look it all up. Anyway, he was not invited back, and now there were not many presenters and pioneers left. There's a couple, for sure, but in 2016, Dan the Man was not there, Christina was not there, and why? Maybe they had better things to do, they were busier with things. I know that one year, I don't remember which year it was, might have been 2014, 2015, but one of, you know, the culties of Durian Rider pushed Christina up against a wall and was like swearing at her and stuff, you know? And so Christina did say that she didn't really feel comfortable at the Woodstock Fruit Festival anymore. Which is really unfortunate, you know? It is a very safe place, but at the same time, we need to not ever idolize people, you know? And I think that can cause problems when we put people up on a pedestal. And you have people who idolize Harley and Freely and hate Christina. And hate's not really an emotion we need to be keeping around. It's too negative. We should just be more loving and try and be the best vegans we can always be, right? But the truth is that when these presenters do not come, pioneers, you know, whether it's Harley, Freely, Christina, Doug, Dan the Man, any of these people who often bring people to the festival. You know, you might ask someone, oh, why are you here? Oh, because I want to meet so-and-so. You know, even when those people are not here, the presenters and pioneers, the festival still goes on. They don't make the festival. It's the people who make the festival. And there's a lot of people who come to the Woodstock Fruit Festival just to eat fruit, meet people, and have a great time. Which is a weird thing to think about because I've always wanted to be a presenter. You know, it's fun to create a lecture and share knowledge. But when these presenters are not there, the festival can become what Mike always intended for it to be. Just community. And now, like at the 2016 and now the 2017 Woodstock Fruit Festival that's going to be coming up, it's community run, you know? There's so many more volunteers to make it run smoothly. Roy and a lot of other people who have had experience in camp kind of, you know, kids camp kind of jobs and whatnot, they run all these different get to know you games, and it's just a really fun place to be now. It's less about the lectures and learning and just listening to all these presenters and being in awe of them, and more about just getting to know people and meeting people and making lifelong friendships. And it's great. There's always a week-long game where, you know, if you have a little clothespin stuck on you, you know, one day you'll just look down and go, what the heck? Where did this clothespin come from? Because someone stuck it on you, and now you need to stick it on someone else. And just fun things like that. Or we put on community-driven events at night. You know, instead of getting in a professional, which costs more money for everyone to see, you know, now we do event nights, you know, whether it's speed dating or a talent show, or you know, in the 2015 Woodstock Fruit Festival, there was the Miss Woodstock Fruit Festival pageant where guys dressed up as girls, and maybe it's the best that only ever happened once, you know. It was great, but some things are not meant to be repeated. There's only so many times you want to see a guy in a two-piece. Let's be honest. And yeah, if you want to watch that, I've got the full video of that on my channel. It's funny to watch. But there's all these different events that are put on by the people for the people, and you know, it's just it's all about fun now, which is not that the other years were not about fun. It's just about now it's all about fun and almost zero about you know, putting people on a pedestal and making money, which is what's great. It's great that it's developed and evolved to be like that. That brings us to the 2017 Woodstock Fruit Festival. I know I skipped over some things. I couldn't cover it all. I covered 2011 in depth because a lot of people didn't go to that one, and then I kind of skimmed over the other ones, covering the highlights, so we could see how the festival transformed over the years. And if you haven't been to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, I highly suggest you go to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. It's quite an amazing time. Yeah, there's been drama, and drama sucks, but we got through it, we got past it, and I think we're maybe better because of it. It's nice that the festival is different a little bit every year, and you know, change is good, although sometimes we fear change.
How would you feel about making a change? We fear change. That
was Wayne's World 1, by the way. But But yeah, I definitely suggest going to the Woodstock Fruit Festival. I'm really bummed out that I can't go. It'll be the first year that I'm not making the Woodstock Fruit Festival. But like I said, I'm not making it because I'll be at school, which is... The Woodstock Fruit Festival is the whole reason that I'm at school. You know, it changed my direction in life. The inspiring people who I met at the festival. So I definitely suggest that you make it out if you haven't gone. And if you have attended any of the Woodstock Fruit Festivals, post down below what festival it was and what was your favorite experience about the festival. And post below if you saw any naked people. I think it was the 2015 or maybe it was the 2016 festival at a fire. You know, we're all just at the fire and a guy stands up, takes his clothes off, dances around the fire one time, trying to get a bunch of naked people going dancing. Realizes he's the only guy dancing naked, sits back down, puts his clothes back on, and kind of funny. Anyways, Woodstock Fruit Festival is amazing. Hopefully this video is not too long, but you know, covering 6 years of amazing experiences, not easy. So, hope to see, well I won't see you there because I won't be there, but I hope you go to the Woodstock Fruit Festival and have the time of your life, basically. And hope you found this video interesting. I thought it would be a cool idea leading up to the 2017 Woodstock Fruit Festival, 2017 Woodstock Fruit Festival to create a little history, my history, the way I saw the Woodstock Fruit Festival. So, I hope it took you down memory lane or sparked some interest in going to the 2017 Woodstock Fruit Festival if you've never been, because I personally know a lot of people who talk about going and they say, one day it'd be so cool to go, but if you keep talking about that one day, it's never gonna happen. So if you want to go. Alright, thanks so much for watching. Remember, get the 6 aspects of health every single day. Earth, air, fire, water, work, rest. You know the drill, hopefully, by now. And if not, you can read about it on my website. It's a paradigm of health. The pyramid of health. The double organic pyramid of health. Alright. Take care.
Whoa, look at all those recipes. Those look tasty. Give me some of that.